Sleep king crack, sleep king crack, sleep king crack, sleep king crack, sleep
Yo,
king
what's
crack,
up?
sleep
It's Lee
king
DJ
crack,
Millie.
sleep king crack,
The
sleep
Kid
king
Cop
bomba.
Scatter shinty stil mababole dope. Just a conscious girls vision super low. Silky sitting in your pussy yeah super show. Mata microphone my super flow. Yo,
Sleep king crack, 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 sleep king crack.
Yeah, what's going on, CV World? This is your boy DJ Millie.
Daqui é Cabo Moss.
Welcome to a new episode of Pracazul. Yo, today's guest, we're really proud of this guy. He was number 2 candidate for Brockton MA in 2017.
Yeah.
He didn't get the goal, but you know he came in close second. He ran an amazing campaign that inspired the community. And you know, put his competition on blast, on notice that there's a young, talented, and focused candidate in town.
Yes,
We
sir.
have the one and only Mr. Jimmy Pereira in the house today, man. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah,
Pleasure
thank
to
you for
be
coming,
here.
man.
Thank you for having me.
Nah,
Always a
man,
pleasure.
thank you.
It's our pleasure.
First off, man, congratulations.
Thank you,
That was
thank
an amazing campaign. We were very proud as Cape Verdeans. You know, we got to say that too. But just
Definitely.
as Brockton, you know, I hear everybody talking about it.
Right.
Unlike many of the guests that we've had here, you were actually born in the United States.
Right.
You were born in Stoughton. How was
Born
it
and
growing up out here, man?
Probably the first one, by the
Yeah,
way.
it could be. Yeah.
Good. I mean, it was a great experience being born. I'm proud to be American, proud to be a Brocktonian. And being, it's what's called a dichotomy, being both native born here but also having family in Cape Verde.
Exactly.
It was kind of a split, so learning about both our culture here and back at home as well too. So I've always looked at dissecting that even through college and understanding about my culture and the mixture that's there as well too. So
Nice.
I love it.
Nice. Where are your people from? in Cape Verde?
Somada, Praia.
Somada,
Right,
Praia.
You been there?
Santiago. I have, yes.
Yeah?
Yes. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's much due. I miss Cape Verde as well too. So it's been about over 10 years.
wow.
years. So,
That's
yeah.
not too long.
It's not too long.
That's
Right.
not too
That's
Too
long.
long
about
for
the
me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
To
You
relax
gonna bring
and
your
stuff.
kids over?
I will.
soon,
Oh
too?
yeah,
you
most
gotta do all of
certainly.
that,
I got to.
Okay, so you're growing up in Stoughton,
Right, Brockton.
in Brockton.
Yeah, I was
You
born in
Stoughton?
Goddard Hospital.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
they
But you grew up in
don't.
Brockton.
Yeah, now it's a nursing home, but it was one of the old hospitals on the line to Brockton.
Okay.
Stoughton.
Yeah, in Stoughton.
Yo,
so-
how was it growing up out here, man?
was-
How was
it
it compared to now? I was Brockton back then.
I mean, as a youth, you know, you're having a lot of fun. You're not worried about a lot of things. But to be honest, I grew up in a lot of the hard parts of the city. Tremont Street, Newberry Street,
Aye,
right down from Green Street, Roosevelt Heights on the north side, Crescent Court East Side projects. So I lived on all different sides of Brockton, and you know, I growing up wasn't the easiest kid to you know handle or whatnot, especially in school. And Brockton, there's this atmosphere where it's like the energy's good, but at any given moment things could go astray. You know, so
So basically, you're saying you used to be a hard act?
yeah,
Yeah?
definitely.
Yeah.
Capacities, yeah. So that, you know,
Okay.
you learn from it though. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's good. But what, you think that it's still kind of like that, or it's gotten much better?
Oh yeah, no, there's you know, there's goods, there's bads, and there's still the ugly as well too. You know, gun violence is still an issue. Opportunities for our youth, you know, there's still a lack of that as well too. So when I grew up, you know, there wasn't too many places for you to go to other than the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA. And you know, growing up in a low income family, it's kind of hard for families to maintain those subscriptions or pay for those monthly expenses and whatnot. So you know, we forget about that stuff, and then you know, we just go out to the street, have fun out there, and then you kind of get caught up into the other things, the other elements that's out there. So
That's true.
That's true, man.
right.
Yeah. So you were at that age, like growing up. What do you want to be when you were like younger?
Yeah,
You know?
I mean,
was it
it's strange.
Was it this route that you went?
I mean, it was kind of, I didn't know specifically what it was. So I'll give you an example. When I walked around my neighborhood, and I always say this, especially on Tremont Street and Newberry Street, I'd look at the infrastructure, I'd look at the environment, and I'd wonder, like, you know, how could you change it? You know, what's the
Exactly.
process? You know, why is it in this condition in the first place? You know, and through my travels and through my experiences going to college and then looking at, oh, there is a specific, you know, following for you to do this, and there was community and transportation planning, regional planning, geography, regional planning, urban planning, and I also minored in ethnic and gender studies. So
Yeah,
what I wanted to do was look at not just the environment, the infrastructure, but how as humans in society interact with the environment, whether it be the infrastructure, the streets, or even the trees and the wetlands and things like that as well too.
Okay.
So
Okay. Because you have a bachelor in regional planning, right?
I do, yes, bachelor's in a minor in ethnic and gender studies.
Now break, for people, as modest people, break that
Right,
degree
right,
down,
right.
kind of like.
No, cool.
What if? What could somebody do when you have that degree?
So there's a mixture of things you could do, and that's why I liked it, because you could switch it to different things. So as a regional planner, we look at not just Brockton, but the whole region. So right now I work for the Old County Planning Council, the regional planning agency, and we work with communities from Avon all the way down to Plymouth. So what you want to do is, especially looking at the regional level, you want to know what's going on in the region, what your neighbors are doing, and how you can bring people together. If you play Sim City, it's kind of like that, where you're looking at buildings, you're looking at the street, you're looking at what can we do at this corner, what can we do with this parking lot, can we change it, can we put a park here instead, or can we put a building and bring development, economic viability to it. And it ranges. So again, looking at economic development, how do you bring money, or how do you protect the environment as far as agriculture, and again with wetlands and things of the sort as well too.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So with the casino, you were like that would be like a big part of what you. What you do,
it
right?
definitely would.
Was that a bad move?
For us as planners, we don't. It's what the people want. So that's why I'm a public servant.
Yeah.
I work for the public good.
Okay.
There's good and there's bad things that come with that. So and my position is always to see what people want and what is the good part of it, and what are the bad things, and how can we fix the bad things. So personally, I don't really invest in casinos and things of the sort, because I don't see it. It's a risk. I'm an investor as well too. I have a home, real estate and things like that, and also looking at the proximity next to a school. So that's another issue for me. So I'm not for or against the casino, but I'm for the discussion. Let's talk about where we're gonna put it.
That's a very good opportunities for jobs in Brockton, right? There. A casino, you can get a lot of people to work there.
Springfield is doing a casino. I was just there yesterday, and the downtown is gonna look beautiful. It's gonna look beautiful. And again, there's some things that you have to worry about, because there's businesses, that are afraid of the competition now.
True, of course.
So they have to, either sell out, but the good thing about the casino there, that they're working with these businesses to make sure that they stay and that they're included in the process as well too.
Now you did something, man, that to be honest, I read about it. I didn't even know that was possible. See, this is where I feel people, people need to understand the commitment of Jimmy and his focus, because we all have full-time jobs,
right?
And when we're done with our full-time jobs, what we do, we drink, we chill. But you did a full-time job and you ran a full-time campaign,
right? Yeah.
I thought people would take off for that, man.
Right. I mean, when you want something, you gotta go after it.
Definitely.
And that's how I am with everything. I'm dedicated to it, especially if it's something that I have love for. I have love working for people. Ever since I was a little kid, my mom would need me to read a letter for her, or read a letter for a friend, and things like that. So, and Creoles it's always like that. So that kind of stuck to me, because I realized that if my mom needs help, and I'm the only one helping her, imagine all the other mothers out there that are struggling, and the children are doing what they can, but and that's why I pursued my degree. I made sure that I went to college and that I wanted to help people. Although I was getting into trouble, that wasn't my MO. That wasn't my end goal, was to keep that path. I wanted to do something. I wanted to be somebody. So I had to find out how I go about that. So.
So, but you said boy, era cabeça rijo, right? In school, whatever. But you always had a vision, like you just said,
right?
And you really wanted to go on politicians,
right? Well, more not politicians. I'm heavy and serious about this. I'm a public servant. I'm a servante di polvo, and that's what I want to go by. I want to make sure that that's what I stay.
You like to help people, basically.
Right, like to help people. A lot of people say politicians is basically just a polished liar. Somebody that's really gonna stretch the truth out. I don't want to stretch the truth out. I want to tell you what it is, explain to you how we got there, and we can have a discussion about how we could get out of there, or how we could go around a different way.
Okay.
For me, it's not about making promises. I don't like making promises. I like making goals, objectives. Let's focus on those goals, objectives. Can we get there? Can we not get there? How much is it going to cost? How will we get to that amount of money? We could go look at grants. We could go look at fundraising. You know, we could chip in, and you know, sometimes that's what it takes. You need people to come in and put some money into it. So
see, people,
right?
Okay, if you need an advice, Mr. Jimmy's right here. Okay.
You ran a hell of a campaign, man, and I hope you're very proud of it. You ended second, but it felt like a huge win. You know, looking at your budget compared to what Mayor Carpenter was had. Yeah. Do you have any regrets of anything that went wrong? Because you know, we heard some things about the third debate that was a big thing. You know, that was canceled. Right. Like, what happened?
Yeah. So I do everything for the love of my state. I do everything for the love of my people. When I say people, I mean Brocktonians, everybody that's in there. And I'm a man of integrity and honesty. I like to make sure that, you know, things are clear cut and that there's no type of foul play in it as well. So with the debate, it was brought to my attention that there was basically a switch going on, and I caught that switch. So basically, you know, there was an issue with the people at the table, how the questions were being administered and things of the sort. And you know, we didn't agree to that. We didn't really want that, especially after we understood what the process was. This is my first campaign. I'm not going to be naive, you know. So I know that, you know, there are other things that people have the capacity to do that I don't, you know, especially when you have that network. So with that said, I, you know, said, all right, well, there's other options. You know, there was the other option to go onto the radio where, you know, it'll be just me, him, and the person reading the questions. You know, we'd focus on answering those debates, those questions at the debate, and move forward. There was also another offer from Brock the Vote to host a debate as well. But I know next time around we'll make sure that, you know, things are crystal clear, that things are set in place, and that there's no
because you don't want people to think. I didn't think that you wasn't ready. You was ready to get them.
I was more than happy. Right.
For a person like me, okay, I never vote.
Right.
Before, how do you get people to vote? Special as virgins.
How do you convince this guy right
here? Yeah, right.
Nah, you know,
so
like,
you have to register to vote first. You have to make sure you register to vote. There's different opportunities for you to do that. You could just go to the website. You could Google vote registration in Massachusetts, and it'll bring you to the Treasury website as well. You go to the DMV where you know, go for your license. You'll be able to do it there. There's different letters also that come to your doorstep, like the census, the U.S. Census. You can go ahead and register to vote at that time as well too. But any given time, you can go visit the website, put your information in. It's very simple.
You gotta be American.
You have to be a citizen, a citizen to vote, basically, and that's your civic duty. Make sure you get out there and vote.
But how do you change his mind state?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
get involved, man. You know? You have to. So basically, you look at, you know, even my own situation. Although it was 1,100 votes, that could have been less. You know, we could have garnish more votes by, you know, engaging more people, especially looking at registration to vote, and doing it early on as well too, so you're not waiting till you know, the deadline to get registered to vote. And look at, you know, my first, as you said, the first time I'm coming out, the budget that I had as well, and you know, the votes that we got, 5,550. Nothing else could help but getting more votes. So and you know, you need that. Votes do count. So and it's understanding it as well too. So when we're looking at local elections, it's different than a national election. And people get mad because they don't understand the process, the voting process. And there's two different voting situations. You have the popularity vote, that me and you vote, everybody votes, and then you have the electoral college where the delegates vote. And you know, that's a little bit more complicated, you know, like people understand it, but that's why you have to get involved and understand what it means. So when you join a Democrat or the Republican Party, you select a delegate who basically decides what you vote. They basically represent your vote. And you know, there's a certain amount of electoral college delegates that go, and you know, some of them can say, all right, we're gonna go with, you know, in our last election we'll go with Hillary. Some of them can turn the vote and say, no, you know, although my people wanted Hillary, I'm going for Bernie Sanders because in my conscience I just feel that that's what needs to be done. So and that, you know, that's where
that's kind of what. That's kind of how Trump won this last election, right?
Electoral college.
How was it for you to see something like that? Like, you know, I don't want to ask who you voted for, whatever. That's not really important, but you know, a lot of people. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you finish.
No, a lot of people will say like, you know, Obama did in my opinion, did a great job,
Right,
you know, especially getting people to vote and everything. And then something like this happens, and people feel like, why even try?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you dissect it, you look at it, and you see what that is. A lot of people say that, you know, the voting in of Trump was a backlash for having our first black president. You know, a lot of people were mad. A lot of people felt forgotten, especially the rural community, the white community as well too. So you look at the people that voted as well. It was a lot of there were a lot of women that voted for Trump as well too, which we didn't expect as well. And a lot of people that you know, vary from different. It could be some businessmen, some, you know, poor persons as well too. So a lot of people kind of wanted to have their issues addressed. For me, it was an eye opener. For me, it was like, all right, if he can do it, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not trying to run for mayor or anything like that?
He's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire, right? So, but it's not just that he's a billionaire. He's got that fire that, you know, and maybe it's because he's a billionaire, but for me it's like, you don't need $1 billion to have that tenacity to not care and say, I'm going to go fight for something and you know, care for people. He may not have thought about that, but for me it's like, all right, for me it's like, all right, well, you know, if he's doing it, or and especially if not even just if he's doing it, if he got voted in, and it's not, that's not somebody that I wanted to get to vote in, then I have to get up and do something. You know, like we as millennials were screaming out for Bernie, you know, and that's who I sided with was Bernie. And then he didn't get in. Then of course, you know, you got to rally around your party, and I'm a Democrat, so I went with Hillary. So. And that's what we do as a Democrat Party and a Republican Party, is you support your party and whatnot, but you also want to look at the values of each candidate also. And for me, it's about making sure that you get engaged and you get out there and you explain to people how do you get involved, so they know.
So did you had a lot of votes from our community, like Cape Verdean people?
It's hard to say because you can't look at, you know, the data like that. And it was split. I think it was split. I know. I think and we had a lot of vocal support from the young Cape Verdean community, but you know, if they're not registered to vote, it doesn't really matter. You know, so.
But did that hurt, man? Because you know, Mayor Carpenter, he's got a lot of love from the Cape Verdean community here. So when you see that, you're like, yo, come on,
this is his son, right. Basically, you don't have love for your son, so
I'm your cousin. I'm your Q. I'm everything.
I know, right? Exactly. So for me, it's like, yeah, it does hurt, but you don't dwell on it. You know, I'm not gonna focus on, you know, on the pain and things like that. I'm gonna do my best to make sure you know who I am and that you like me. And then it's not just, and for me, it's make sure everybody knows who I am. You know, so it's working with people from all different communities, and there's people that in the Cape Verdean community themselves that don't like my opponent. So it's something that, you know, that's there. So it's not like everybody is siding with the other side, but you got to make sure that you people have the freedom to like whoever they like, you know. And for me, it's about making sure that people just know who I am, know about my integrity, know about my honesty, know that, you know, I'm here for you. I'm not here for any of the fame or the money and things like that. I'm not worried about that, because I know that, in my opinion, my vision is that if I help people, I'll be helped myself. You know,
karma.
God will, karma, exactly.
Karma,
you do good energy, and it's all about making sure that, you know, the next person succeeds in life as well. Because if I'm doing good and you're not doing good, you know, what do you think is gonna happen? You're either gonna be envious, or you're gonna, you know, try to come and get what I got. You know, and sometimes that could put you in jeopardy. So
because they try to get on your lack of experience too. But then I read that there's a mayor in Fall River that's younger, and he's Cape Verdean as well.
Yes, he's Portuguese and Cape Verdean.
Okay. How was your relationship with him? Did you call him and say,
yeah, I tried reaching out to the mayor of Fall River. I tried reaching out to other mayors as well to get, you know, experience or insight into you know, what it takes and whatnot. And I even did that with our current mayor before running for office. I wanted to know, you know, not necessarily to run for mayor, but what it means to be a public figure. And you know, when I didn't get answers, that's when I knew that. And I had a feeling that, you know, and to some, to their credit, you know, they may have an election or whatnot, but for me, it was more like, you have to like go out there yourself and like get to know, because get the answers, get the experience, because people, you know, like I'm down to earth, and I'll if I have to take time out of my day to sit down and talk to you and call you and have this conversation with you, just so you could have better knowledge of what it is. I have people all the time calling me to help them out with their resumes or how to have an interview or what job is hiring right now.
That's
and
important.
you need to be able to be down to earth to take the time out and speak to people, but it's easy to say that now, but once you're in office and you got the workload and whatnot, so
can't help everybody. Man, you can try.
But you gotta, as much as you can, make sure that you hold on to that.
Do you want to run again?
Oh yes, of course.
Yes?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Better.
Right,
Come
yeah.
on, man.
Yeah,
That was an amazing
I cut
run,
through
and he
it.
got so close.
Right,
Like
man.
I was looking at the numbers. Carpenter had like what $90,000 budget, and you were
a bit over 100.
that's
clients,
crazy.
so
How much were you running with?
Probably had like 13, 15,000.
Oh, come
max.
on.
Right.
Yeah,
I
we
got
just
a few.
had Martin Luther King
Right.
passing day. So is that somebody that
Definitely.
made a lot of difference for you?
Yeah, for me, I'm very kind of sympathetic, empathetic as well too. I try to put myself in other people's position. And Martin Luther King, he was, and just like everybody else, Malcolm X, and you have other leaders, JFK, John F. K. That they're tasked with this mission to help people. And you want to do something that's noble, but you're not perfect. You're not perfect, but you want to go out and do this thing. And sometimes what you're doing, you would think it's for the benefit of people, but sometimes it may not be. And I remember one of the things he said was he's leading people. He was saying that integration was putting people of color into a burning house, and I wondered what he meant by that, and I wondered what other leaders meant by things like that as well too. And it's like you're doing something, but you don't know what the outcome will be. Exactly. So for me, it's like you may have a mission, but you don't know what the outcome is going to be. But you have to do it in hopes that it's going to be positive.
Coming from a good place too.
Exactly. And if you do it for the long run, you make sure that you stay there so that whatever is going on, you're there, you're able to mitigate, and you make sure you do it. Unfortunately, his life got taken away, so he wasn't able to do
Honestly,
that.
what you just saying, to me, remembers me of Tupac. I know it's totally different, Malcolm X and Luther King, but it remembers me of Tupac,
Pac had the right vision. He was, he was a little distracted at times, but he came from the right place.
Right. No, he was another one of people that I look up to, especially reading his autobiography, his biography. And the poems that he wrote as well too, and his history as well. His mom was a Black Panther activist, and the amount of knowledge that he acquired just by hanging around with the people as well, and the messages that he was trying to depict for his community, and not just those in Cali and Brooklyn and Maryland and New York and Maryland, but all around the world as well too. And you see how people gravitate to that, and they love him for that because it's his energy, his tenacity of being out there and not caring that this is who I am, and I'm here to speak for my community.
But at the same time, he even came public and said, "Yo, thug life is not what you guys thinking. That thug life is being gangsters and kill people. No,
messes up everybody.
I always, to be honest, man, in my opinion, I always felt that he should have used a different name.
Acronym,
because
I know,
it was in your face, it was honest and everything, but you could see how people would, how people would see. Even kids, like my friends, would talk about thug life and guns and this. They didn't even understand it, just because of the fact of the name. So it was, I always hoped that he had done that a little different.
He was ahead of his time too.
He was still a kid, That's the thing too.
25.
I'm 26, so come on, well.
Hey,
just saying.
R.I.P. Pac, man. We
Rest
love
in peace, Pac. Tupac Amaru Shakur.
And how much are you involved in the CV elections as well? Because we act like Cape Verdean peoples don't, they're not into politics and this. But then you say MPD, they lose their minds. So do you get into that at all?
I don't get into it too much. I do observe it, watch, see what's going on, and trying to learn more as well. That's part of me learning about my culture as well, learning about the political background, how it was just Piaceve and Milka Cabral and his fight for getting himself in CV, and that transition in the creation of MPD and the different parties now. I think it's in its infancy, and that we as youth have to get involved and have to learn more about it as well too. I always turn an eye to my homeland and look at what's going on over there, and how we could get involved and what the future could look for our city, our country. So but it's definitely looking at learning more about it. I think that's what's very important is learning about it, and because I'm not there, and making sure that it's something that we communicate to our children as well too. And our parents should communicate to us as well too.
Do you see yourself? Sorry, do you see yourself like doing a project in Cape Verde?
Yes, I do, and it's more for from the regional planning.
He's like, oh my
and
God,
I know, and again, our homeland, it was a developing country, and we are getting to a point where we're established as well, especially in the tourism, and I think from what I'm hearing, a lot of issues are coming up with land taking and people, worried about their properties and things like that as well too. So that's definitely something that I want to get into. So make sure that I learn Portuguese as well too, because you're not going to be able to go in and do anything. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we want. Right. So gotta do it. Gotta do it.
You're from our world, man. Right, from a real world where where real people talk about real things in real ways.
Right.
Is it hard to be, to move in the world of politics where, where sometimes you can't be as real or direct as you want to be?
No, definitely. So for me, I've had that experience or that exposure to the different worlds that we live in, right? Yeah, you grow up in Brockton and slang, it's like, yo, what up? I'm here, pants sagging, gang, whatever we lit. Yeah. But you're in a setting where you have to change up your stature. You have to speak a little bit more eloquent. We call that, it's basically the dichotomy between the urban life and the rural, suburban, white life, basically. So when I went to college, it was at Westfield State, and it was a majority white school, and we were just like a pocket of black people. We went through our own situations and issues there as well. You'd be able to look it up with discrimination and whatnot. But it was an experience that I think really opened me up to know about communities that weren't my own.
So, but you being a planner, I gotta say something that when I came from Portugal, it was just 5 years ago. I was kind of upset. I was, because look, I walked on Main Street, and I'm telling you, que tem cabo de polícia, like
I know,
trash, coisa de polícia.
I know.
And I'm like, in
Don't
Portugal,
tell me, man.
in Portugal tem uma coisa like called ecoponto, so you put like garrafa, plástico, and trash.
Every 40 meters.
Every 5 minutes, boom, 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 boom.
I want to do that. I've seen it in France, because I've been to France. I've been to Nice. Yeah, every second pole, like telephone pole, there's a little thing you can put the low hanging fruits.
Banana from Gino's restaurant to neighborhood. I don't like to,
I know, me neither. I don't.
I'm like, what's wrong with this? Is America.
Exactly.
Guys, then that's why it create like, ratos,
all
these animals, because they have to feed on something, and it's right there on the floor.
Right. You take that away, then you're not gonna have those.
So
issues,
what you trying to? Do you have a plan for that? Because to me it's important.
I definitely do. What I wanted to do is basically what I've seen in Nice, France, is implement that. Work with whether it be Southeastern to make the devices to put it on the poles, and work with the DPW so we have a routine schedule to go throughout the towns and collect those as well. But it's also about education also. You got to educate the community, have service announcements where people know what to do, how to do it as well, and do it ahead of time. Don't wait till you implement something and then say, all right, this is how it works, and people are like, we didn't know nothing about it. So education is key. I always say that as well too, but also providing and enforcing as well too. So if you don't do it, then you either get a fine or community service, but you won't get that until you have options. I'm not going to put you in the box without having a way out if there's not the infrastructure there for you to throw away your trash.
For somebody who lives like in the world of stats, man, I gotta ask you this. Like, I'm a very positive guy. I'm a positive guy. I always, I talk about positive energy. No, I'm a positive guy. What are you talking about? Optimistic guy, positive energy. Like, whenever we talk about Brockton and people say, hey, there's a lot of crime, or this or that, or there's a lot of kids not going into school, I talk about the kids that are graduating. Right. The people kids are doing drugs, I'm talking about the kids that are doing well. Right. I mean, I know we have problems, and I know we have to work on those problems, but how good is Brockton doing, man? Like, stats-wise?
I think it's pretty fair. I mean, when you look at the average income, we're not Wellesley, we're not Newton at $50,000. We're like 32, right around $32,000. So Also, when you look at the school system, kids are graduating. Kids are doing great, but we're not being funded the way we should be funded. So, and it's not necessarily Brockton, that has that. It's things around Brockton as well too, and the people that should be helping Brockton as well.
Yeah.
When you look at Main Street, you see all the homeless people and things. A lot of those people are not from Brockton. A lot of people come from neighboring communities like Pembroke, Easton, and get dropped off here as well too. So you got to look at that as well. And we don't live in a vacuum where something happens on the south side of Brockton doesn't affect anybody on the north side or something like that. Like, this is a city. It's a metropolis city. It's the greater Brockton region as well too. We don't help just Brockton, but the neighboring communities also. So, are we great? No, but could we do better? Yes. But also, are we in a position where we're to move forward and do better? Of course, we definitely are. So.
What do you think is the biggest issue right now with the kids? Is it crime? Is it drugs? Especially in CV community, I think drugs is becoming a problem.
Even then, like, just lack of opportunity. Like, if or just even guidance, ambition. That energy that you could be something. You could do whatever it is you want. Because you could put it in front of them, but if they don't see the energy in it, the enthusiasm in it, or the benefits of it, then what for? And again, with the drug, it's pretty hard, especially when you have drugs that are laying waste. They're putting whether it be the opioid epidemic, even in our culture, when you look at lean, and that's not a drug that Percocets and things like that. That is opioids. Those are drugs that will have you addicted to it and can kill you. So,
but at the same time, I think it comes a lot from parenting, like. Imagine if you have a parent, right? You have a kid, like a 16 years old kid, right? In Brockton. Yeah. And you have a dad and a mom that they go to work, and then they spend the whole day at work, and what's each escola, you go home, that's it, you do whatever you want. Like,
that's what I did,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You don't have like killer apoio, foundation. It's.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's what I went through growing up. My mom worked 2 jobs. I was on Tremont Street, and you go outside on Tremont Street 11 o'clock at night. There's nothing good out there. So
that's like a Warren Ave right here.
That's between Warren Ave and Main Street, right by Defto's liquor store,
Pepsi,
and exactly.
That's Nilson Street. That's
Nilson Street.
Even then, I grew up around that whole neighborhood, so we've seen crazy things happen right there at Bud's Variety Store, on Nilson and Warren Avenue. But Tremont Street is right by Huntington School. So it's having that, and that's what we want. We want mentors. We want better mentors. We want to make sure there's opportunities. There's not really any soccer fields for our children to go and play at. The baseball and football fields. There's not really any football fields either. So looking at what we could do as a community to provide outlets for our youth. There are coding. There's a kids code program at the Brockton Library. That we look at emphasize. We should look to emphasize as well, because that's the future. Looking at technology as well too. So we need to make sure that we're investing in our youth so they could invest in the future.
But we're proud of you because you had that, the way they will put you by, but you'd be like, nah, I want to do better. So now you inspire a lot of people.
I hope so.
With this conversation, I'm already inspired. I'm like, man, I could do better too. You know what I mean? To help people,
But how do we help the parents too, man? Because I feel this is my personal experience and everything. Like, I grew up watching action-packed movies like Stallone and Schwarzenegger blowing up everything in the movies.
Jackie Chan.
I watched. I listened to Pac, Biggie, Snoop.
Me too.
I watched Eddie Murphy. Delirious Raw.
Richard Pryor.
Mom and Pops broke up.
Right.
But I was alright, and the reason that I always say that I was alright is because my mom was dictator.
Exactly.
Like, she had fear in me. It was it was ridiculous. But how much do we? Because in your case, your mom was just basically. That was oh my God. I don't even want to go. Because with your mom, it was different. She was just working a lot of ways. She couldn't really. How do you take that pressure away from parents that they actually can do their jobs?
I know. I wouldn't say there's much that you could do. For me, it's about working for your parents, man. Know that like they're working hard, for you to make sure that whatever you do is to honor them. You know, make sure that you have that vision that I'm gonna take my mom out the hood one day. You know, like I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna take care of the people, all that. So, but as a community, you know, what we can do is help provide that foundation. You know, have that community foundation where, you know, if I'd like to see a multicultural center, you know, in the city of Brockton, or having a satellite of campuses or satellite buildings of the multicultural center. So, you know, if there's a program, you could drop them off on the north side. That, you know, it's a small location, but it's a place where, you know, kids could go and have fun.
Exactly.
They could also learn about not just their homework, but, you know, life skills as well too. You know, the benefits of owning a home, the benefits of doing your taxes and knowing how to do your taxes, the benefits of just investing, know about proper investing as well too, and also public safety. You know, the other things that, you know, we don't teach our kids about, gun safety. You know, things that, you know, we need to teach our kids about, so they know. You know, all right, you see something, all right, know what to do. Get an adult. You know, things like that, and also just to build that self-esteem. A lot of our youth feel that they don't have a positive outcome in their life. When I grew up in Brockton, I'll tell you right now, I would think the worst of the worst. You know, I was ready to like go. I was definitely in a bad place, but by the grace of God, man, I was able to get out of it, because I seen that, you know, that life doesn't pay off. You know, like I've seen raids, I've seen, you know, things that, you know, all of it, where it's like you don't want to be involved in that, you know. So providing that outlook and that vision that, yo, you can do whatever it is you want to do. Like, you can do whatever it is you want to do. I've done acting. I've been in a movie. I haven't been, you know, the main role, but you can see me. I was there. I seen.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's where I feel that we need to get at, because you've been outspoken about your past. I mean, you know, you went into foster care system. You had juvenile delinquent, and how do we stop a young Jimmy from even getting that far? You feel
talk
me?
to that kid, right? You got to talk to that kid.
Did you have someone talking to you?
I did. I didn't have that one person. I had people in my life come in and out, and what I realized is that, you know, somebody could be there with you for a day, for an hour, you know, but as long as you take something from that conversation and you implement it, then, you know, you'll go farther than just letting it go through one ear out the other. And again, having that opportunity to, like, just, your mentor doesn't have to be somebody that sits right next to you in front of you. You know, you could watch a YouTube video and say, all right, that guy inspires me. There's a guy that I watched recently too, it's not that long ago, but Jay Morrison, he does real estate investing, and he really was about, you know, he was a big time drug dealer. He got arrested, and he knew that, all right, that's not the life I want to follow. So he got into, because somebody told him, hey, you know, get into real estate, you know, and then, all right, you tell a young kid that, you know, has never heard about it or has never got into investing real estate, and he kind of puts it, you know, apples to apples, saying that, all right, it's just like selling drugs. You know,
flipping houses,
man. So it's like you use, and it's unfortunate that we have to use those type of analogies, but
it is what it is.
That's where it's at. So, you know, exactly. And if you know that, all right, I could do this and not worry about the cops kicking down my door.
Or I can.
Then I'm gonna go. Yeah, I could do this and get, you know, not just get the cops kicking in my door, but I could have a hater come in and say, run your stuff.
Now I call the cops. You know what I mean? Now I call the cops.
Now you call the cops.
You know, my question.
Exactly.
So, but for a person that don't know Jimmy, because y'all see him, you know, all
suited and booted,
but are you a guy like to party and whatever, like to go to a concert?
Right. I like to have fun. Yeah, I do, but not too much. I'm not too much of a guy that's out there partying and things like that. You know,
do you get to do that now, man, at all?
Sometimes. I got 2 kids at home, so, you know, I can't do it too much. But when I get a chance to do it, I'll go do it. Shout out to Outro Level, Pitama, the Brockton local, Sandro Pires, you know, at Tambu Saturdays as well, Kizomba night. So, and that's our energy, you know, being Cape Verdean. Like,
but we like Sabura.
You like to be in Sabura.
But what kind of music you like listen to, man? Like, let's say Cape Verdean music first.
Cape Verdean, I grew up on, you know, like Gil Semedo, Felipe Monteiro. Like, I was old school, exactly. And Jorge Neto, I'm really old school. My mom and dad, you know, always played the old school, Marna, you know, Cesaria.
But what about American rap? Because when I went to the door to grab him, he was calling me, and I had this Drake song, and he was like,
Right.
You know, rapping this song. I'm like, oh.
Anybody that listens to the radio knows that song, man.
But you know, imagine if you like rock. I don't know.
But yeah, you like hip. You're big on hip hop.
Oh yeah, no, I grew up listening to hip hop, rap, R&B. You know, Biggie again. He was one of my biggest fans as well too. Right. Usher. Growing up, I'm a '90s baby. You know, so I listen to exactly Jay-Z. A lot of other people too that people don't listen. Big L. You know, J-Rock. He was another good one. The new rappers as well. Big Pun as well too. The new rappers, I'm mostly more like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, right.
I like your boy. What's his name? Meek Mill.
Right.
A lot, actually.
Bandits label. I don't know if you're at Bandits label. It's I'd say local now. They're not gonna be local for too long, but basically, there's a Brockton group that raps as well. There's other rappers, local Brockton, exactly that are making noise. So
that's dope.
We got to make sure that we support local artists until they get international. So this what's up,
because I think a lot of people don't know the power of hip hop, man.
Right.
A lot of people see the bad side of it. They don't really, especially when you talk about somebody like like one of the conscious rappers or anything like that. Even the stuff that they talk about, man. I'm telling you, hip hop raised me, man.
Right.
Like I learned so much of hip hop. It's ridiculous. There's some stuff that people would have in their lyrics that didn't have anything to do with hip hop or anything, and I'll be like, oh, that's how I know that.
Right.
The connection is crazy. Yeah, what's going on with sports, man? Were you always were you a sport guy one day? You were a tall guy. You got to play
football. Basketball. I'm more of a football guy. I play basketball too, but definitely football. Defensive end is what it is. So I was killing the quarterback. But I played the end.
You're a Patriots fan, bro.
Definitely. Definitely am a Patriots fan.
New England?
All day. No, definitely. And ever since, I think it was basically watching the Patriots that made me love football. So, and that really helped out with I think everything else, anger, discipline, and just that energy, that drive. Like just wanting to win the game and being.
But you really played for a while?
Oh yeah, I played for high school and college as well too.
Dope.
But that's another thing. I wish that I played when I was younger. I got into it really late, so I had to learn a lot of the things right there on the field. But I seen players that they were invested in, that their parents watched them on the field since they were Pop Warner. So I knew that that's what it takes. If you want to invest in your child and you want them to have a good career in sports, then you need to invest in at an early age.
I always say that.
That's something that we don't do in our community. We have kids that play soccer and can be all-stars, but if you're not putting them in any of the leagues, or if you're not committed to it, and it costs money, I know, and that's the issue that we run into, and it costs time.
I want to ask you this, man. I feel we Cape we follow each other a lot, and we follow, wherever there's money to be made, we follow it a lot. And what I see is, especially in the field of education, especially with the females out here, a lot of people become, CNAs?
Yes.
That's what we were talking about, which is great, Yeah. But if you could control a field, or if you could push our people towards a field, maybe like your own, which one would it be?
Definitely.
Where would you want to see more Cape
I would say, definitely in government, and definitely economics, so we know you want to have economic power. You want to make sure that, you're investing in the right places as well. But you also want to have representation in government also. And it's not just to have representation, but it's to learn, your government. We're here. I'm a first generation immigrant. My mom was born in Cape Verde. I was born here. And, because I'm running for mayor, because I have a regional planning degree, I'm able to transition, or I'm able to bring people over the bridge and understand that, hey, it's a public hearing, come listen to the issues that we're talking about, whether it be bike ped, infrastructure, and raise your concerns so we can address it. That's what I want to do, is make sure that you bring your concerns, it's recorded, and we can address it moving forward. But if you're not there and you're not asking for it, then who is going to answer to exactly. So that's what we want to do. We want to change that. We also want to have economic empowerment. Teach your children about owning a home and the benefits of that as well. So we can have long-term investments as well too, not just here but back in Cape Verde also. So.
No, because you see the focus of these. Like in my life, I think I have about 10, 15 people around me that are all CNAs and all that. And I think, that's great. That's awesome. Right. And then I see their daughters or their kids growing up, and they're like, we're going to college. What you going to do? I'm gonna be a CNA. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's try something different. You know, not that's great. You know,
Right.
become that, get your money, become it's great. But I would love to see more influences. You know,
And
go
even in the
different
same
way.
in that field, you know, you don't have to just stay a CNA. Go be a registered nurse. Go be a LPN, and you know, keep going up till one day you're a doctor and whatnot. You know, set your sights high. Because your worst enemy is yourself, man. If you lie to yourself and say, "Oh, I can't do it," then 100% you're
not gonna do it.
You know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
You were almost mayor,
Right,
you know,
right.
and you know, like I said, you know, you ran a hell of a campaign, and I know that, like, if I look at the Obamas, I always look at them because I love that family, I love that connection. Like,
Same
you know,
here.
you have Obama, but we forget that there's also Michelle there,
Right.
You know,
Right.
your wife.
Yes.
Was she ready to be first lady
Nah.
of Brockton? Was she ready to
Not.
take that step?
No, I know, probably not. I know it wasn't easy for her, even through the campaign as well too. You know, having to deal with the kids and me being away most of the day and whatnot. So, but I think after she's seen, you know, my drive and how much I wanted this and how much support, you know, that people are, you know, coming up to her like, oh, you know, I didn't know that, you know, that's your fiance and that, you know, he's running for mayor and things like that. So, and she knew, you know, like, and not just that, like, but seeing that, you know, we need this. We need someone that's going to be young, someone's going to be honest, someone that's going to be transparent and inclusive as well. And you know, and she's seen that, so I think now she knows that, you know, it's a must.
She gave you the support.
Yeah, definitely.
Since day one.
Yeah, no, she
that's how it's
she
supposed to
didn't
be.
know exactly, and she didn't know, you know, like what it entails. As did I didn't know how much it would, you know. So it was stressful at points, but she definitely stuck it through.
Stuck it through.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
ready
dope.
for 2019 now?
Right. Too thick and thin, man.
That's
Thick and
good.
thin.
That's
good, man.
How high are your aspirations in politics? Do you ever want to go higher than mayor one day?
I don't know. I really just want to focus on Brockton. I have a love for Brockton. I mean, I could see myself there forever, just working for the city. I want to be a Mayor Thomas Menino, as you know, the previous mayor for Boston. May rest in peace.
Definitely.
He was someone that I looked up to as well, because he knew everybody in the community, and that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that people know me. People could come sit down with me. We could, you know, talk over some food and whatnot, and you know, and get things going, man. Whether it be
Like you said, I said, you were a
Exactly.
very humble guy. Like,
Right.
You know, I see you doing that, definitely.
No, it's still like even coming to the show, man. This is already amazing for us.
Anytime.
With 2019 in sight, what is there something that we as a people can start doing right now?
Yes. Register to vote.
Okay.
Register. Share. Spread the word. Let everybody know. It's important to get involved.
Yeah.
You know, make sure that, you know, you get out there, you vote. There's actually an election going on this year as well too, the governor's race. So get yourself informed, man. Go do the research. Make sure you know what's going on, and get involved. It's important that you do and learn about, you know, what you can do to take part in your community.
Your community, definitely. Yo, listen, people. All right, Jimmy Pereira just told you, you can go vote. You can go register today.
Yep, register today. You have all the time to register. You could even go to my website. It's there, jimmyforbrockton.com. Again, Google register to vote in Massachusetts. It'll pop up. You'll go to the Treasury website. You just put in basic information, your name, address, and it'll let you know, whether you already are registered or if you have to register. And then you go ahead and push through the process. So
Awesome.
See, sounds easy.
yeah,
Sounds
easy
easy.
as pie,
It
man.
is easy. It
Yeah.
is easy. Jimmy, man, I first of all, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We had an awesome time. Everything we thought about you is basically true. You're a very humble guy.
Exactly.
No, I'm telling you, no bad
Right,
stuff.
it's
Man.
always
No
good.
bad stuff. Very humble guy. Everything that we read about you, is you're honest. You're direct. You're open to discussions with anybody, and I think that's a way that you can build.
Right.
And with your background and your experience, I think you can only help us out here, man.
Sure,
and we applaud you.
Thank you.
We thank you. We ready for you, man. You got
All right.
soldiers on. You got
Let's
soldiers
do
on the
it.
streets.
Hey, when you
Ready for
be
2019?
the mayor,
Yes, sir.
oh, you gotta take just 10 minutes.
I'm here,
and you're
right,
gonna come
right.
here,
Yeah,
For sure.
and you're gonna talk about it.
Right,
Okay?
for sure.
Nah, we definitely got to do that, man.
Let's do it.
Everybody out there, thank you for watching us. This is your boy DJ Millie.
The Kiekab Moss.
Thank you for watching another
Right.
episode of
Pracazul.
Pracazul. All right.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, bro.
Nothing feels the same, baby. Listen, no one is to blame. All this rain
flames, putting out the flame. I don't wanna change you and I don't wanna change. Wish that I could stay, but nothing feels the same. All this Mary Jane makes me feel some type of way. You got a heart I don't wanna break, and we have a love that I don't wanna hate. So baby, trust me, nothing feels the same, nothing feels the same.
Promessas falsas, falsas promessas. Só te exatas, fizeste as malas à pressa. Eu durava, confesso, tu também, confessa. Éramos inimigos em qualquer conversa.